You're still watching Life Stories. Thank you for being a part of the show. Today we're talking about sexual exploitation of females in our country, Uganda. Molly was stuck. There was a storm back home and in prostitution where she sought refuge. She had never seen so much human degradation. Kakati mbuulira mukwano gwono eyakutwalayo yagamba atya?
Nze yangamba jja ntubeere wamu. Nenzija nembeera naye. Nagamba jja ntutambulenga.
Mutambulenga mulagawo?
Nga tugenda okwetunda.
Ekintu kino mwakikolanga mutya ng'otuula wamu?
Ng'oyimirira.
Kwataliiko kapande nga bategeera batya nti oli ku mulimu?
Anti era kyekitundu.
Kakati mbuulira kugamba ku bintu bye mwabeerangamu, ngoye kize mwayambalanga, kugamba ki ekyabeeranga okuba kakati mwakulinanga emirimu emirala gye mukola emisana?
Twali twebaka bwebazi.
Olunaku olulwo olutandika ddi lw'olaba nti kati olunaku lutandise?
Olunaku olutandika. Anti okeera n'onaaba n'omala ne weebaka. N'ozuukamu ku ssaawa 7 n'olya emmere. N'ogendako n'olaba ku firimu. Ssaawa 2 n'olyoka oyambala n'ogenda.
Ng'olwo mwambala mutya?
Ayinza okwambala empale ne bulawuzi nga bikutte. Kubanga bw'otayambala bikutte babeera tebakulabawo.
Kati abayambala ebibakutte bonna bonna babeera ku ekyo?
Tebabeera ku ekyo. Naye kale obeera mu kitundu. Ekitundu ekyo eky'abakozi b'ekyo. Era babeera bakulaba. Musajja ayinza okujja n'aggula ate n'ateekako kukuba.
Ng'atakukubira ki?
Abeera akola ndooza buyaayo. Ekirala empewo ebeera nnyingi. Kwegamba ebyo byonna n'abasirikale nga batukwata.
Bakukwata? Baali bakusibako?
Tebansibangako naye nga baali bantuteeka ekibuye ne bamala ne banta.
Bwe walinga gy'oli eyo waliwo abayambibwa ng'olaba oli mu kukola oba ogw'okwetunda afunyeemu?
Waliwo abafunamu. N'olaba ng'oli nga ozimbyemu ennyumba oba ng'apangisizaamu ennyumba. Naye era batono.
Lwaki batono?
Ssente tezibeera za gundi, tezibeerako mikisa. Zibeera za bisiraani kubanga obeera ne Mukama abeera tagize, tayagala.
Kati gwe tewazifuna? Eki ng'ate oli mulungi? Nti ng'ate nkulaba oli mulungi, olabika bulungi bwenna.
Anti era wennajja wano ku Lahabu wennatandika okulabika obulungi.
Kati tewasanganga bantu bakugula ng'obamanyi?
Era obeera osobola omwekweka ate lwaki akugula obeera omumanyi.
Kati olinayo be walabanga ng'obamanyi?
N'obeekweka.
Tewaliiwo lwekyatuukanga ne kikulumiriza n'owulira ng'oba okyejjusa?
Anti era wekikulumiza wano nga oba banno nga bakuguddeko empalana n'oba ozifunye nga banno bakuguddeko empalana.
Bakugulangako empalana ng'obakoze eki?
Kale oba oluusi obeera oguze kagoye akapya oba ng'osibye kaviiri. Ne bayagala okukola ki? Okutulugunya. Naddala bano abakozesa ebintu ebibi.
Ebiragalalagala.
Ebintu ebitatambulira ku mateeka.
Abasajja abo bayambalanga protection? Oba kyasinziranga kugwe nnyini mulimu?
Abamu tebaagala mpozi kale bano abakugula nga balina ensi ze mwe bavudde. Abo be basikirizibwanga okwambala naye bano abeeno tebaagala era olina omukwata n'amaanyi oluusi ayinza n'okukuvuma n'akkuba n'okkukuba nga yeekaza.
Molly made the money, but for some reason she was not fine. She knew that her body had been defiled for a very long time, thus eroding her dignity. Kati bo wabasinkana otya ab'ekitongole kino?
Bajjayo nga batunoonya.
Kati gwe baakusangawo?
Era bansanga eyo omugundi. Muzi loogi ne bajja nga batuteeka mu mbeera.
Nga bayingira loogi ne bakugjayo?
Babayita. Ayagadde najja.
Kati gwe olina ekirungi kye wafuna mu kwetunga?
Sina kye nafuna. Era bizibu byereere kubanga aliwo omuwala gwe nalwana naye nannuma n'okutuwana. Kati awo mbeera sina kye nafuna.
Munange nga walaba. Kakati abeeka bo essaawa eno mwamala ne mutegeeragana jjajjaawo ne taatawo ne muka kitaawo?
Tetunnaba naye nga nfunye ku ssente nsobola okuddayo kale ne mbalabako.
Wabasonyiwa?
Kubanga sibavumanga wabula nze natambula butambuzi ne ŋŋenda.
Kikuwa kyakuyiga ki ku bulamu obwo bwe walimu nakati w'otuuse?
Kale ekyokuyiga kye kimpadde. Omuntu okubeera awe nga oli mugundi kale nga bazadde bakuvuma osirika busisi tosiba busungu. Obeerawo awo n'ogumira ennaku kubanga n'eri gy'obeera olaze nga weewaggudde tewali kalungi.
Kale weebale kwogera munaffe, kansuubire nti abawala bakuyigiddeko munnange bye wayitamu byewuunyisa naye kasita wamala n'olaba ekituufu era n'osalawo okukola ekisaanidde. Kale Mukama kuume.
Naawe akuume.
When we see them on the streets, we are quick to judge them, not knowing their tribulations and reasons they opt for this kind of life. Dina and Molly may be some of the few lucky ones that escaped, but the tragedy is many are still in it as others are making their way to it. What is the way out? You're still watching Life Stories. Next on the show, we're going to engage the Commissioner of Police, Afande Judith Nabakova, who is also the spokesperson of the Uganda Police. She's going to tell us something about the particular topic that we're handling today, sexual exploitation of the different kinds. Hello, Afande. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. How is police?
Police is fine.
Yes, we appreciate, by the way.
Thank you very much. We also appreciate your work.
Okay, please. I want to know, is prostitution a crime to begin with?
Prostitution. When we look at our laws here in Uganda, you find that actually there is something on prostitution according to our laws. But we have not been really enforcing it due to the nature of it. At times it is very difficult to gather the evidence because there is some kind of willingness. And normally the cases that we get, it's where maybe the parties have failed to agree in one way or another. That's when they resort to police, probably to see it as a place that can intervene in what has taken place. But where there hasn't been a misunderstanding, you find that it could be very difficult to handle or intervene into matters of prostitution. So these problems.
Afande, on the issue of trafficking, how must a parent help themselves and their children?
First of all, the parents, as parents, there is need to talk to the children. Talk to your children. Give them the facts the way they are. And it's good that we have a wealth of information. These things are being displayed all over the place. And there are people who have even volunteered to give us real-life experiences. There are organizations that have documented. There is a lot of work that has been done. So, parents need to speak to the children all the time. Tell them what is taking place, what is happening in society. Tell them about these new things that are coming up, trafficking, because before we used not to hear about trafficking. But if it has come on board, then speak about it freely with your children. And I believe that if the children are given information, and also the children to be more disciplined, to listen to the advice of the parents, the teachers, the community members.
Have you tried to put this issue out there when it comes to the countries where most of our girls are taken?
Yes, it has been put to the respective countries, and actually cooperation and coordination has increased in respect to the countries where girls have been trafficked, and we are using Interpol. Any case that was reported to the Uganda Police Force or to the attention of Internal Affairs.
Registered because
yes.
These girls were telling me that somehow they communicated and then somehow they got in touch with the police and an organization.
Yes,
able
yes.
to bring them back home.
Yes.
But from your side, how effective has the cooperation of these countries and our country been in trying to curb this situation?
What I can assure you is that there is coordination and cooperation. Once information is given out, and once we give them the right information, you find that they usually want to help, they usually want to assist, and you find that through Interpol, a lot of coordination actually takes place. And we also go an extra mile in tracing the relatives of these particular girls. And once they are brought back to Uganda, they are handed back to their parents, and also some organizations come on board to help do the counseling, trying to talk to the girls, and probably trying to make them at least feel comfortable. Other organizations have come in to try to help them, maybe engage in income-generating projects to see how they can recover from what they have been going through, where they were.
Thank you so much, Afande, for being on the show. Thank you for your time, and thanks for educating us. You're still watching Life Stories. Thank you for being a part of the show. Joining us is Madame Annette Chiravira, the Executive Director of the Rahab Uganda, a home that rescues and rehabilitates girls that have been through sexual exploitation. How are you, Madame?
Thanks, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How is this place?
This place is nice. It's quiet, but
Thank you for having us here. When girls come to Rahab, what happens?
when girls come to Rahab, we're assuming the process of withdrawing them is over. We enter into the process of rehabilitation. And usually one of the first things we do is do a health check. Many of the girls come in with some form of STD. And in some extreme cases, there will be HIV involved. So part of the health checks, we'll check for pregnancy, we'll check for STDs, whatever it is that we can check for. And then they begin the treatment. If it's HIV, then they'll be assessed and everything, and at the appropriate time they will begin the ARV treatment. The next thing is to assess for skill. What can this girl do? But before we get into the skill, because you've witnessed we have a home, one of the most important things that we need to restore in the lives of these girls is structure. When you live out on the street or in the brothels, your life just happens anyhow, haphazardly. You wake up when you want, you do things, nobody's giving you orders except maybe the pimps to pay this and the other. So one of the most difficult things to restore in a child's life is, or in a girl's life, is that proper structure, that somebody actually wakes up and does that in this time and that. It's a very foundational skill that we can't overlook, because if we don't do that...
For someone to know that life has some kind of order.
Yes, life has order, life has systems. If they don't master that, then they cannot survive in school.
So what are the biggest challenges about doing this kind of work?
The biggest challenge is that this is a very slow and painful process. Sometimes you have such great aspirations for a girl, but they don't see it yet. So drawing them from that point to begin the journey of being empowered and finding their own future, sometimes it's very difficult. Allowing somebody to change, they all don't change at the same rate. So that also affects sometimes the way we do programs.
Thank you so much, my dear, for being on the show. Thank you so much for the work you do. It's invaluable. Don't even call yourself a mother of boys only again. You're a mother of so many girls.
Yes,
and
very
God
proud
bless
of
you
our
for that.
life.
You should be.
Yes.
Alright, you stay well. You just heard from Madame Ernest Chirabiwa, the Executive Director of Rahab Uganda, a special place where girls are rescued and rehabilitated from sexual exploitation that includes prostitution, either voluntary prostitution or forced prostitution, and those who have been victims of trafficking.
His letter was to all parents, guardians, daughters, brothers, sisters, and society. God is willing to restore each of us back to dignity, whether it's from prostitution, an addiction, bad character, or whatever vices we have. Today, we celebrate young women who managed to overcome in spite of the circumstances.
We know by now how serious the problem of sexual exploitation is. Children of this country, females of the Pearl of Africa, are being taken into different practices because of peer pressure, because of struggles, because of broken families. You and I can help curb this if we do the right thing. Report to the authorities where necessary about people who are trafficking females. And also remember that in as much as this is a real beast, this is a real issue, we have the power to fight it together. Those that have been victims, I need you to understand that God helps the brokenhearted. God understands more than we do. Thank you for being a part of the show today. I'm Justine, your host. I'll see you next time. You can still catch the show on YouTube and give us your say on our Facebook and Twitter pages, NTV Life Stories. I'll see you next time and take care.